your time listening to so many amazing stories, both on stage and off stage, and the dinner last night, the walking tours of Kilkenny, the whole location. It's been fantastic. So well done to you and your team for all the organisation. So what stood out for you? What are you taking away now that you can get cracking on in the next year or two?
Well, I remember at last year's conference, one of our guests, Simon, said that he was really glad that Shamrock Gifts had given the notebooks because he had so many things to write down.
Oh,
and if you leave a conference with a long to-do list, that's a real sign of success. So I took a few notes. This is in no particular order. So just things that were kind of said, and these are, I suppose, quotes that I picked up from yesterday. So one was Eoghan saying, and I loved the onomatopoeia of this, tourism is an economic engine, especially for the regions. So we always have to kind of assert the importance of tourism being an economic driver, and very important in terms of creating local spend and local employment, and often where there's no other game in town, like there isn't industry in town. So tourism is very important from that perspective. I was saying that if we want people to stay longer, we need to tell our stories persuasively and at all price points. And I thought it was very helpful there that, see, Gary is very close to the market. Gary from Expedia, he's really close to the market. He understands what people are buying, and he sees what people are buying. And often, as part of the tourism family, we have a loyalty to sort of not comment on hotel pricing or not comment on the challenges that are there. But we need to hear it. So thank you, Gary, for making those observations to us, and we'll pick up on all of those. Just to say as well, Expedia worked very closely with Fáilte Ireland over the summer in relation to visitor attractions, which is a new initiative, because with Expedia it's traditionally been, as we know, the flights and the accommodation. So we're really glad to have that spotlight, and I think there might be some findings and stats coming out of that. Eoghan also saying yesterday, we're talking about the budget, but policy is more important than budget. Now, our Minister for Tourism, and if an election is announced soon, we're not sure how much longer she's going to be the Minister for Tourism, but a tourism policy was supposed to be published, and it is unpublished at this moment in time. So we don't know if that will be published before the end of this government, or whether there'll be a new person with a new policy. But I think that's important. Like, budget is, it's 1 year, but policy is where we are in the long term. Eoghan yesterday said, in regard to AI, about deploying staff into more valuable areas of my business. And I remember somebody, I heard a friend of mine describing lately, like, we shouldn't fear AI. It's not going to replace,
Yes.
You're not going to be an avatar next year presenting on stage.
Definitely not.
But if you think of AI rather than as a tool to do the 3 Ds, so the jobs that are dull, dirty, and dangerous. And instead lean into all the human elements that we are good at. So I thought that was very helpful. And also where he said the more valuable areas. So we add value as humans. So that's our key strength. Laura talking about the horse's hooves thrumming over the green grass was just so stirring. And I thought it was very important that you said there's something at every price point.
Yeah.
So it isn't all about the Cashel Palace and the, I don't know how much it cost to cover a mare, but anyway, we're not going down there. But she was saying you could go to the point to point for a tenner or 15 in the National Stud. I loved Nick saying that the internet is a big ocean and there are plenty of fish in it. And I mean, that is niche, like the military memorabilia and the tanks and everything. But I was saying to my sons, I have 2 boys, 14 and 11, and I was saying, I saw this guy at this conference and it was all tanks, and they were, can we go?
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if Nick actually mentioned yesterday Tank Fest, which is a 3-day festival of tanks. I think it's in June.
Yeah.
And we could fly to Exeter and we could hire a car. And,
It's doable.
It is doable.
You're tied in.
Yeah. And I know he said that like 98% of the online visitors were men, but it was closer to like 55%, in the in-person visitors.
Yeah.
I imagine the rest are all mammies.
Oh, yes.
So I'm not sure that they're a special interest group in their own. In relation to Robin and the dynamic ticketing, now I actually only asked Robin I only invited him about 10 days ago.
Right.
So he presented in Belfast and I ran up to him and I said, are you by any chance free? So he flew in from Newcastle yesterday morning and he didn't even stay for dinner last night. So, but what I loved about the way he did it, see, I thought dynamic ticketing, people can get a bit defensive about that. So either they believe in it very strongly or they don't believe in it. And I loved the balance of, on the one hand, on the other hand, and you decide what's right for your business. So I thought that was good. Dean has asked me to remind everybody that their gorgeous pictures are there for collection. This was from last night. So this is a lovely picture of myself and my great friend Liz on the little trains.
Yeah.
I had thought yesterday, I said to everybody, oh, you know, we meet you downstairs in the lobby at 7:20 for the trains to go at half. And as soon as the trains pulled up outside, there was a scrum put on them. I'm amazed that they fitted as many people as they did, but I thought that was absolutely amazing.
And actually, doesn't it just show a paper photograph is such a precious thing now, even though we have them all on our phones. That's a really nice takeaway, so make sure you pick those up.
Jenny, I thought it was really powerful for you to say stick with the programme, because you know, because we've often spoken about this, how businesses sometimes find it hard to keep a pace with all of the supports that are offered. So sticking with it, everybody in this room probably has a key account manager, so just to sort of lean into those. I spoke at a conference in Newport in Wales a couple of months ago, and we were talking about the Digital That Delivers programme, and I said, oh, you know, we have this amazing thing, and you know, everybody was encouraged, we got mentored, and you know, we got you know, funding, specific cash funding to get new programmes. And I said, I believe now the average spend per company was, I think it was about 32,000, because I actually knew it was about 34, and this conference was in Wales, and all the British attractions gasped in envy. So we don't know how lucky we are. They do not have the same levels of supports in other markets. That is a competitive advantage. So stick with the programme, you know, really do stick with the programme, because it's all designed to help the businesses. In relation to Mick, Google and the pace of change, once upon a time I was an early adopter. Now I cannot keep up, but I have resolved just today to just cop on. You know, I can't be left behind, and I can't be handing my phone to my children saying, I don't know how to do that thing where you circle the Glenfiddich aqueduct and find it for me.
My children are brilliant. They keep me in the loop on everything cultural, technological. You know, when he was talking about Mr. Beast yesterday, I never would have heard of Mr. Beast except that I have a 12-year-old son.
Yeah.
So talk to kids, they will keep you right on what's happening.
Also, has anybody, I've never used Google Lens. So to my embarrassment. Okay, so hands up who has used Google Lens in this room.
Wow.
Okay.
That's so cutting edge technology, people, and that's something I noticed in the conversations. Everyone has to be ahead on the tech, because that's a core part of your marketing.
Yeah. So, you know, I was sort of gasping at the search terms and the circling the flowers and all of that. And I need to take a good look at myself, because like, I'm an adult functioning in a business world. I am not a chimpanzee being shown a simple conjuring trick. You know, we need to stay alert, because otherwise we'll get left behind. In a personal capacity, I found myself very moved, very emotionally moved. Sorry, I'm actually getting emotional just thinking about it now. When Sally said, what's the wow? Why is everybody saying wow? You know, and I just feel we have such responsibility. We talk about the beautiful things that we have, and yesterday, you know, I'm just going to read out something that Anne gave an address as the new chair, and some of her words at the end of our AGM yesterday, before everybody else was in the room. We are important. We are the stewards, the curators of the most precious assets on the island, and we turn the keys on our local tourism economies by drawing visitors in. And we go to see beautiful things, and we want to share them with our friends and our family. And there's such an inequality of people who have any sort of issue around access and inclusion. Everybody deserves to have an experience and feel the wow and share the wow. So, and I know that there is an inclusion toolkit coming via Fulch Ireland, which I think we're going to circulate information on soon. And, you know, use it. Like, it could be easy, it could be difficult, it could be challenging. You may need to take advice on it, Like kids in museums, for example, they provide an audit service. Sally provides advice, like she's an advisor and a trainer, you know, even just when she was coming here, you know, I sent out my email last week with all of our final details, and she contacted me and said, you know, it's got bullet points, it's got a QR code, it's got an image, it's got a complicated font, and she said, could I have that in a Word doc, Verdana 20 points, and just email it to me. And I felt bad that I hadn't thought about that, because I had invited her as my guest.
Yeah.
And so I learned from that. What else? We're all, I suppose, the ambassadors for our sector. So we bring everybody here together, not just to have the fun and to climb the round tower and ring the bells and eat the dinners and drink the coffees or whatever, but we have a purpose being here, which is to share the knowledge that we have, and I suppose to strengthen the association and our voice. Kilkenny, wow, you played a blinder, you know, absolutely.
Yeah.
So so how we're gonna folly that next year now, I don't know.
Place your bids now for the next location to host the conference. Yeah.
So I don't want to start on my thank yous, because I'm sure I'm going to leave people out. So everybody will be individually thanked and hugged. But you know, and if we wouldn't have a conference if people didn't show up.
Yes.
So thank you for showing up. Thank you for taking time out of your busy lives and stepping away from your offices to be here. So it brings value to the association, but I really hope you found it fun and enjoyable and inclusive. And I promised you that I said, you think you know Kilkenny, but we're going to show you stuff that you've never seen before, and I hope you all feel wow. And I hope you come back to Kilkenny. And that's it. That's a wrap.
Thank you very much.